Okay, today's video we're going to talk about advertising sample packs. So if you're running an online store and you're selling, pretty much direct to consumer, of course this could also work selling to businesses, even though not quite as often. How you could put together a sample pack and promote that sample pack, which you're literally going to offer for free. Consumer pays shipping, and turn that into a profitable customer that pays for the cost of the free sample and still make money on top of it with the follow-up ad campaign that you can have once you pick up that person's identity, their information, their billing information, and got somebody who now knows about your company. So I'm going to go through what that strategy looks like on this particular video. I'm going to give you an example of where we used this exact strategy before. And with all that, I'll show you the math, how the numbers break down, how is it that you can actually give your product away for free and still make money, also considering, it costs money to get that person to even accept your free gift, and how much money you can end up at the end of the day, giving you a breakdown from somebody in the clothing space, women's clothing space, where we can give you the exact details of how we did this exact thing before. Also have done this in another market in the health supplement space with the same exact thing. In the muscle building supplies space, where you're taking supplements to, for bodybuilding and protein powders and stuff like that as well. But I'm going to primarily focus, at least breaking it all the way down in the for the situation where we're working with the particular client in the women's clothing space and a women's clothing brand. So anyway, with all that said, I'm going to get into the details on this particular strategy now so you can employ it for your business. First of all, there's a very effective way to get customers for your e-commerce website. It could just, or if you don't do online sales, technically you could have an offline business and run this as well, doing some sales online to try to get them into your store. But for the most part, e-commerce businesses, you could do a lot of business giving out samples of your products, which is, like I said, this video is about that. If your product is great and you know it, many times after you basically went through and picked all the low-hanging fruit opportunities, ways in which you can market and advertise your business online to get customers for that business, because your typical business, e-commerce business is going to start out running ads on Google. You might run a shopping/PMAX campaign. That works pretty good. You're able to run maybe some brand ads. Maybe you'll be able to run a little bit of non-brand search campaign ads. You might be able to run some remarketing ads. You might be able to run, and maybe that's as far as you go with it on Facebook. You can find customers that way, but at a certain point, you've tapped out the obvious opportunities on Facebook, on Google. You might try Pinterest ads, which is a common thing that works if you're talking about e-commerce. You could try some other stuff like TikTok ads and so forth, which also still do work. But at some point, you'll be able to find that giving out free samples of the product is actually more productive, more profitable, and more productive of your time than going and trying to find another platform, but presumably, maybe I should go try TikTok. Go back to Google, go back to Facebook, figure out how to find your most ideal customer, do what you need to do, i.e. give them a free sample to get them as a customer, knowing that if you get that customer, they're going to be buying a lot from you, and go and do that first before going and finding a new, stealthy, outside the box way to find a customer, advertising your products as is, doing a straight sale. Here's the product, here's the price. Do you want to buy it or not? So it'll be better off offering those prospective customers you want, giving them a sample, and then getting your money back on the repurchases than trying to get that person to buy that product straight out. Because obviously that person that you want, a lot of times they don't know you, they don't trust you. If you know your product's good, if they try it, they're going to buy it quite a few times. The math just works out to where you offer it, you do what you have to do, you basically give it away just to get that customer as a lifetime customer of your business. Of course, this doesn't work for companies that usually sell one product to one customer one time and that's all the business is. But most businesses aren't like that, and so I'm making this video about you guys that usually have repeat customers. As a side note, I run a PPC agency here. It's very, very common that clients that are starting out in business, they expect to be able to advertise, and whatever they're selling initially to a customer, what they're selling has to pay for the cost of the ad to get that customer and the cost of delivering that product and all their overhead, and still have profit left over. And then if that customer comes back and buys again, that's all, that's just a bonus. If it was that easy, all of your competitors in business would already be doing it, because that would be a freaking ridiculously profitable campaign. If you could make money on the first sale and then all repeat sales are all just, require no advertising cost, all the money is in the repeat business. What you got to be able to get good at doing as a business owner is figuring out how to acquire customers at a break-even cost on the front end, or even losing a little bit of money, understanding what that customer's worth after you get them, and make your profit on the repeat purchases. And most businesses, generally speaking, is like that as you're trying to get, pay-per-click on Facebook, on Google to work for your business. Giving away the product is an extreme way of doing it, but it's a legit way to do it nevertheless, and is a more productive way for a lot of you guys than going and finding another platform or another outside-the-box strategy to get a customer in the door. You just got to understand the math. And this is another, sensitive point for business owners, particularly starting out. They don't want to it just surprises me if I ask somebody that comes to our PPC agency, what do you pay for a customer right now on average through your advertising? I don't know. What does your average customer generate you in terms of sales? I don't know. Well, how the hell are you going to be able to make something that generally operates off of tight margins, i.e. pay-per-click advertising, work if you don't even understand what you're getting in terms of return from a customer? And it goes back to them wanting to, they just want to run a campaign, and whatever the person buys, it has to be, they got to make money on that initial sale, and they'll spend a little bit of the initial sale on advertising, but that's it. And sorry, it's just not that easy most of the time, not unless you have a groundbreaking product that is, first in class and it's a breakout category, something like that. So anyway, with that all said, certainly before you exhaust all possible advertising opportunities to advertise your products that have generally, you rely on repeat customers for most of your revenue, or will after you get going, it will certainly be easier, like I said, almost for all you guys watching, if you rely on repeat customers, to literally give that product away before you're going to find every last customer you can get through PPC profitably, offering, to sell that product with no free sample, no free trial, and just, do you want to buy it? Here's the price. And so at some point, you should certainly be asking yourself, what I'm sharing with you today, is it the right time to explore this before going on and finding another possible, advertising place I can advertise? So if you can generally get paid advertising to work, you can get this free trial thing to work. That's, they go kind of hand in hand. But, certainly I wouldn't want to try something like this before I got my PMAX campaign working on Google search, because that's generally more profitable than this for, you product sellers. But there will be a time, surely, in your quest of scaling up a business through pay-per-click ads, that this is actually going to come in handy for you. So anyway, what does this look like? Here is the method that I used with the women's clothing brand that I mentioned, that I'm going to go through what the results were. And so you ultimately can get this in place for your business. The first step in this method of being able to put together a free trial / sample of your product in order to acquire a customer so that you can then later on profit from that customer long term, in which that'll pay for the cost of the sample. What you're going to do to actually make this work, because it's way more complicated than just, here's a sample, I'm going to rely on that customer come back. You got to know your numbers, you got to know how to offer, who you're offering it to, how you're offering it to them, and so forth, which I'm going to share with you here next. The first step in this plan to be able to actually make giving away a product be profitable for your business starts with having a customer lifetime value tool on your website's store to find out what a customer is worth. So if you are actually doing e-commerce, not doing you're doing brick and mortar sales, for most of your e-commerce platforms, there are these lifetime value calculation tools where, especially for there's really good ones for like the mainstream carts like Shopify, where you install that thing on your site and it'll start to perpetuate data about all the customers you have come in, and it tracks when that person comes back to buy. It'll tell you a running tally of how much that person's bought since the very first time they bought. And of course, you could do this running through your merchant account and just doing things manually if you wanted to and wanted to get started with this quicker. But you want to just get a feel of, if you don't have the lifetime value tracking tool, you should have it, because there's a lot of things you can do with that, such as you can understand the type of items that if you sell that item that normally leads to so many repeat purchases, that you can literally sell that item first before anything else, because you can actually, spend more on advertising to market that particular item than you can with other items, which makes it easier to scale your campaign, starting with marketing and getting every last sale you can out of that initial product itself. But in a lifetime value calculation tool will help you be able to do this. It can do other things other than just see what customers are spending with you overall, but certain things like if they buy an initial item, of the initial items that you sell, which ones actually lead to the most repeat purchases. Most of the good tools do this, but certainly that's the type of thing that you got to be able to know as a e-commerce business owner to really do well. And if you want to be the monster player in your category, this is the type of stuff you got to be able to do. Anyway, you put that tool on your site, or you go through your records, like I said, and you figure out, what about is a customer worth? If they buy from me, what's the average amount of revenue that I normally can expect from this customer over time through the lifetime of their, being a customer with our firm? It might help to look at how long the average time is before you get that value. Typically, people want to be able to not have to rely on repeat sales, because it takes a year or 2 years to get all of the repeat sales you're going to get out of a customer. And so basically everybody wants to be able to just make money on the initial sale, because they can initially flip that money into getting more customers, and it's easy to scale a campaign. This is what separates the people who end up being the giants versus the ones that won't. Are you willing to get a customer and wait a year or two before the full money comes in from that customer so you could flip it back into another customer? And yes, it greatly extends the amount of time it's going to take to scale your business, but in 10 years, if you do that, you'll 10x the size of your company. If you're at $1 million a year now, you'll be at 10 million a year then. And it's really, if you look at it from that perspective, it's not that bad. So you just got to be disciplined and wait for that customer to come back and buy, and keep tabs on them, making sure they're coming back and making sure you're getting the value from those customers, and then recycling the money back in as soon as you get it. But anyway, I was getting off topic there. You find out what a customer is worth. The second thing you do is you find out what is the most common item new customers buy, then come back, and then leads to the highest lifetime value out of all the items that you sell in general. And this is going back to what I said about a good lifetime value tracking tool. What you'll be able to do with a tool like that, and you could do this manually without a tool, using your merchant data and using spreadsheets and so forth, but you want to find out which item, when people buy that item, specifically leads to the most lifetime value. I just spoke about this, and I brought it up because it's directly relevant to this video, but of that, if you can actually lead, going what we're going to do in a second here, if you can actually lead giving the sample of the item, which the people who normally buy that item usually leads to the most recurring purchases and lifetime value, that's the item that you want to give in your actual sample. So if you look at what an average customer is worth, from all customers who buy all things, you're going to find that amount of money that you get from the average customer will be X. Once you find out which item leads to the most lifetime value from a customer, you'll find that it'll be like X times 1.5. It'll be greatly more money on average that you get from customers who initially buy your top item that leads to recurring purchases and lifetime value than all other customers who buy all other items. So from that tool and from your data, you find out which item, like I said, leads to the most amount of revenue being spent with your store over time, so we can offer that one for free. Now, of course, there's a difference between offering an item for free and somebody buying it in terms of what they're going to end up spending with your company over time. But there is a direct correlation between giving away an item that normally leads to a lot of lifetime value and purchases long term, and basically offering that for free versus offering it for pay, and still getting a lot of lifetime value from that person who gets it for free as if they were to buy it. So to give you an example, just to clear this up, if you normally get $300 from a customer who buys item X that normally leads to the most lifetime value purchases in your business, if you give it away, you might find that the lifetime value you get from people who got that initial item for free, assuming they paid for shipping to get it shipped to them, which is a small side caveat, the lifetime value you get from that customer is $200. So it's less, but it's not so much less that you can't make money giving away that product. And that's basically the nuts and bolts of this whole thing, why it works so well. And so this also assumes, of course, the person you're giving it away to is the right person as well. What this whole activity really is about, it's about getting that dream customer that you knew if they just tried your products, that they would be a great customer. And then you give it to them, and if you got the right person, it matters a little bit, but it doesn't matter as much as you think that that initial product that they got from you, they paid for just the shipping or paid for it outright, because you got the right person that normally just goes on to, that has all the traits to go and buy a whole bunch of stuff from you. And now they just know of you. They know the product's great, so they want to buy all that other stuff from you. If you follow my thought process here, that's basically what this is about, why this whole strategy works. Taking this a step further, you could find, of all the items that you sell, which one leads to the most lifetime value and repeat purchases and overall lifetime value from a customer. You take those top customers and then you look at the people who bought that individual item that leads to the most overall lifetime value from a customer overall, and you dissect them and find out what are the demographics of the people specifically who buy that item that leads to the most lifetime value from a customer from them. So it might be of the people who buy this item, we have the most lifetime value out of people that buy all other items. Within there, anybody that's over 45 plus, they actually spend this much more on average than the rest of the people on average that buy this item in terms of their lifetime value. And so if we're going to give away something, going back to what I just said about this is about finding the ideal customer, not about what's being offered necessarily up front. We're just acquiring the customer that we want, that we know is profitable to our firm. So if we know that people who buy this item and are 45 plus actually end up spending a lot of money on us on average, it's our top of the top for our company, then we can give away that product to somebody who's 45 plus, meets that specific demographic type, and end up count on a whole shitload of revenue to come in from that person after they get our product, because we know if they try our product, that's the type of person who likes it. And this product, normally when anybody tries it, they like it anyway and go on to make purchases from us later on. So we're not going to bother making any money selling to this person because they're so valuable to us. We're willing to just give them a little bit of a break on the initial item because the numbers and the math all works out on the back end. So you would want to figure out the demographics of all the people, like I said, who buy that top lifetime value producing item. You can do this by auditing. You can literally call people up and ask them a questionnaire. Thank you for being a customer. is there anything that you think that we can do better? And then at the end, you could say, do you mind if I asked you a few questions about who you are, like your age, for our own, improvement processes? And that's one delicate way to get customer information. The other way is you can use something that's called a data extension company, where you could go with a list of email address, your customer email addresses, and their names. They'll be able to get you their age, their gender demographic itself, which those are the two main things you're looking at. Beyond that, you can start to slice and dice things down further, and you could certainly try to do this on your own. You could twist my strategy and get more out of it. But for the most part, you're going to start to really, really narrow down who you can actually sell to a lot. And then Facebook's algorithm and Google's algorithm can pretty much find you the rest of what you need in terms of that most ideal person to give this free trial offer to, or free sample offer to, that I'm going to show you in a minute. But you certainly should find out, of the people who buy that item, that's your top lifetime value producing item that produces the most lifetime value from a customer, what's the age and the gender that you want to sell to specifically. And so that when you go forward to this next step and you're actually going to start promoting that free sample to that person who normally buys that item, that you actually are also just going to narrow it down to the top age and gender demographics. That's going to get you the most lifetime value most lifetime value of all, given it still is actually expensive to offer a free item to somebody. So if you're going to offer a free item to somebody, you better do it to one that's going to produce you a reasonable amount of good expected lifetime value and future revenue that'll be coming in. You'll have that you can count on coming in from what you're offering there for free. So there are certain times where if you just marketed to everybody who bought that particular item in the past, you'd be good. You wouldn't have to narrow down by age and gender like that. And other times you do need it to make sure that your lifetime value you're going to get from that person you give the product away to actually pays for all your expenses of the free item, and the advertising to get the person to take the free item, and then the advertising to get them as an initial paid customer beyond the free item, which is another added expense, which I'm going to share with you next. So that once you find out what is the lifetime value of a customer who buys your top item that usually leads to the most lifetime value, and then the age and the gender demographics within that produces the highest lifetime value, you know exactly who to sell to, basically, or to a degree, who to go after with a free sample product, and which item to offer to them that normally leads to high customer satisfaction and a lot of lifetime purchases from that person in the future. You can actually go to the next step, whereas you create your dedicated ad and landing page that's going to offer that free sample of that particular product that we found that leads to a lot of lifetime value and lifetime purchases and lifetime purchase value. And you create a sample pack to be able to, within that item to offer. So with that, you just got to get creative. If you're selling any kind of consumables, you just offer a little packet of what you have. If you sell clothing, you just offer a whole piece of clothing. Generally speaking, as long as you can get something that's under $50, you'll still be able to make this work, because you're narrowing down the best of the best of the best of the best customers to go after, so much so that you can offer them a $30 item and still have it be profitable to you at the end of the day, which I'm going to be able to demonstrate here in a minute. So you don't have to have the item that you're giving away be $5. And for that matter, you may not even want it to be $5, because you still got to advertise to get that person that is your star type of prospect to get as a customer, so that they actually take you up on your offer at a higher rate. So it takes less advertising money to get that person to accept your free sample there, if you get my point. You can play around with that. You can offer something, if you want, start out with offering something in terms of a sample that costs $5 versus something that's $25, and then play with the math. At the end of the day, you can factor, all your costs, all your expenses, added together, what we made from a customer after we got this in. Because what you're also going to be able to do with your lifetime value tool is, once you get these people who try your free sample, you can tag your sales so that all the people who end up taking your free sample, you could track if they go on to be a customer and how much they spent to check all your math and made sure that you made money. And once you do that, you should be jumping up and down for joy because you got a reliable system that will bring in a ton of your best customers from now on. You're basically on autopilot, essentially. But anyway, the ad just says, free sample or free giveaway of, our best-selling, top here. A top being like a blouse or something like that. And, you could even say up front of the ad, if you want, just pay shipping. There's no catch. A lot of times if something that's too good to be true, if you say there's no catch, it helps conversion rates. We know certainly for this type of offer, it does help conversion rates. So you may want to incorporate that into your ad, certainly. Same thing done on the landing page. On the landing page, if you're going to promote a campaign, particularly for Facebook, what works good on a Facebook for this and for other types of similar very precise offers like this is a very short style landing page. The landing page should show the item. Free, you have been selected to get a free sample, top or best-selling top. People love this, well reviewed. All we ask is for free shipping, and you also goes to help you explain the reason why we're offering this for free is not because this is not a low value item, but we know that people who try this love it so much that they become, a long-term customer of our brand. So you, just by literally being honest with them, you'll get a higher conversion rate than if you didn't do that. Because again, they're going to think, because people that get something for free, they don't value it as much as something that costs them money. So you've got to really be careful so the person doesn't look at it like, A, too good to be true, but B, and it can't be valuable because it's free. So you got to battle that with your language on your ad and your landing page. So I recommend you say that all up front. And then in terms of that, I would recommend, generally speaking, just starting out with Facebook because that's where we're normally getting the best return for, in terms of the lowest cost per person, entering their physical credit card information to get the item that we're offering shipped to them versus any other ad channels out there. Google Display Network would be the second, but with Facebook, what we'll normally do is we'll use lookalikes targeting. So we'll upload a list of our customers, specifically our best customers we got to Facebook as a list, and then we'll do lookalikes targeting, 1x lookalikes targeting of our best customers. So it'll analyze all our customer list, get us people that are like our customers. Then on top of that, we'll say 1x lookalike, but they must match our age and gender demographics that we know match also from our customer details, going back to the second step there where we looked at what's the highest lifetime value, what's the product that leads to the most highest lifetime value in recurring purchases, and then within that, what's the age and gender demographics that further actually subsegmenting that list of customers who buy that item that leads to even higher or the highest lifetime value out of that. So we'll let Facebook's algorithm find us customers that are like our best customers because we gave our email list to them. But then also just to make sure we get faster traction and things run more accurately, I would recommend if it's 45 plus, put 45 plus in there. If it's female, put female in there. And Facebook will do a really good job with that. Just with that one given strategy I gave you there for your free sample, you'll get people to get that free sample for you for $3, $4, $5, $6, $10 at the most. With that kind of setting and situation and setup that I just gave you there. I gave you what to put on the ad, what to put on the landing page, and then how to target, where to target, i.e. Facebook, and how to target it on Facebook, the lookalikes, and then the age and gender demographics. If you want the most out of it as well and get more predictable results. The age and gender demographics will make sure that you don't have any, what you have will be more predictable on the backside. You want to make sure after you do all this, you process all these orders, that you're going to, still get a good lifetime value from these now that these customers that you now have. You want to go in with the most accurate targeting as possible. It doesn't take much time to do that. Go ahead and make sure you got the right gender and age demographics to have the most predictable results on the back end possible. So anyway, that's the third step there. So you run your campaign, you get all these free sample orders. They must actually, by the way, pay for shipping. The reason for that is twofold. First reason is if somebody wants to, your goal is to not just get anybody in the door. Of course, that person, like I said, what you're targeting is not, the person who wants to buy the product per se, but the person that you want as a customer. And of course, if you can get them in the door, even if you gave it to them for free and you didn't have to pay for shipping, that person is going to be a lot more of a known value to your firm, having known that they were willing to pay for shipping to get this item, than if they didn't have to pay for shipping. So if somebody's willing to pay for shipping, they're a lot more likely to actually pay money for an item in the future than if they didn't pay shipping. So that's the primary reason why you ask them to pay for shipping. And so in other words, for every customer you acquire that gets the free sample, the lifetime value on somebody who's paid for free shipping already in terms of what they're worth to your firm is going to be much higher. At least 3 times higher than if they didn't pay for the free shipping. We've actually tried this both ways, and you can just take my word for it. You want them to pay for the free shipping. They're going to be worth a lot more to you. First of all, the ones that don't pay for free shipping, they'll be less likely to buy anything, and then the ones that do buy, they'll buy less, whereas the ones that pay for free shipping, not hard to get them to buy something after that, or way easier, plus they'll buy more once they do buy, make that initial paid, fully paid purchase where they're not just getting a free sample, but they're actually buying their initial purchase or item from you. So just stick with the, pay for free shipping. Free shipping, just pay for free shipping offers have been around for a long time because they're so damn effective. Lots and lots of scams surrounding that. I'm sure you've seen it before. Here's a free makeup offer. Just enter your credit card for free shipping. And then they would bill and it would say in the fine print, we're going to bill, ship you another one of these every 30 days and bill your card. And getting people, it was so easy to get people to do that. They would put an affiliate offer together. So they would pay other people, like, we'll pay you $3 for somebody to fill out this form. And they would get all these other marketers who just are affiliate marketers to get people to fill these landing page, the offer, the form out, to get to enter their information to get the item just for free shipping. And they would get hundreds and thousands and whatever of the submissions. Because people, the presumption is, if they are getting this item to me for free, it has to be good. Otherwise, how could they make money? And that's the other thing that makes this work so well and why it costs so little money. $3, $4, $5 on Facebook, you using the lookalikes targeting to get somebody that you want as a customer in the door through advertising and through that system that I told you about. So you won't have any problem getting your prized, golden, looks like your perfect customer to do business with you with this free sample, even if you ask for the free shipping. It works very, very well. It got off track a little bit. The other reason why, by the way, you ask them for the free shipping is because once somebody has given you their credit card information, this is proven, you can check these stats out elsewhere, they're over 10 times as likely to buy something from you in the future. It's just the reason why Amazon got as big as they did. Once you've bought from Amazon, you don't have to enter your credit card in again. You would rather order from Amazon than the other website. And a lot of times, different people that get different clients we have, they'll have their product sold on their website. So many people will just go to Amazon to buy because they don't want to enter their credit card. And you'd be a fool not to also sell on Amazon for the people who don't want to enter their credit card information because it's more trouble than you think about. But a lot of people just don't like to do that. They just want to click buy and then they're done. So for the maximum sales on an e-commerce site, I would have a link to my Amazon listing that literally says you can also buy it on Amazon. Click here. And they don't have to enter their credit card. You of course have to pay a commission then, but there's a lot of people who won't order just because it's a struggle to enter all their information in. It's just like that study where I've seen where they ask people, what would you rather do? Fill out a contact form online, or would you rather clean a toilet? And overwhelmingly, people would rather clean a damn toilet because a lot of people can't type that fast. You may be able to type fast. There's a lot of people that go purchase something through a checkout, depending on who you're selling to, that could take your average customer 15, 20 minutes. That's just way too much friction in the process. So anyway, you get the credit card information, getting them to buy in the future, way easier. And of course, they trust you because they've now got this free sample from you. So it's just so much getting that person with other advertising. Once you got to accept that free sample in many different ways, it's just going to be so much easier to get that person to buy from you again. And then once you get an initial buy from you, getting those repeat purchases will be even easier yet, and just it snowballs in terms of the effort it takes to get another sale from that person. And so you're just going in with a very low barrier pitch right away. You're just giving the item away, literally speaking, but it's very strategic. It's a very specific item for a very specific type of person that will be profitable to you. So anyway, that's the third step. Now the fourth and final step here, you've got your signups. If you did it right, you should be able to get people to accept your item, which may cost upwards of $30, $40 that you're giving away for free to that perfect customer who usually spends a shitload of money with you down the road. But you're probably, if you're doing it right, paying $3, $4, $5 to get somebody to enter their credit card information physically and pay for the shipping to get that free item out to them. Once you get those people in the door, you right away have a separate a separate campaign going to remarket to that person. So there's tools out there like DriftRock where if somebody buys, they can automatically go into another campaign, post that information back to Facebook. It goes into a list. That list is tied to a campaign. And literally speaking, even before that person's even gotten that item, they're seeing other ads from you that promote your store. And there's very specific promotions that you use that we found works the best. You do that same thing on Facebook, but you also do it on Google. You can do it on Google as long as you've spent at least $50,000 in lifetime spend. If you haven't done that yet on Google, you do it on AdRoll instead. It gets you pretty much on the same placements, which are websites across the web on millions of different websites to get so the websites that they frequent often, whether it's crosswords.com or the Weather Channel, that you're able to get in front of them there in case they don't spend much time on Facebook, even though you probably got them on Facebook initially. You don't want to limit yourself just remarketing to them on Facebook because you're not going to get as much out of those customers you paid upwards of like $50 in terms of your expenses to get as an initial, database customer to market to. You want to do both. If it works, and as I mentioned on this channel before, if anything works on one platform, it'll work on the other. So just like, you want to try to get your most ideal customer on Facebook, you could technically try out Google. If it works on Facebook, it'll probably work on Google with different settings to get the same thing done. As you're talking about remarketing to a customer list, it's like, it's easy. You just use the same ad to the same list. It takes no effort at all to get similar results, and then you can magnify what you can do with this whole strategy. But the promos that you're going to hit people up with are, you're going to follow up with 3 different promos a month for the next 6 months. And those promos, you basically could just run, 50% off on these specific items for, Easter Sunday or Easter or whatever. And then a week later, I have a different promotion, new items in stock, clearance on the old, last season's offer, And then the next week or so, you have another offer that's like site-wide flash sale. For the next, 48 hours, we're offering everything off, 15% off, or whatever. And you may not be able to offer 15% off. I'm just throwing out general ideas here for different stuff that you can do. But the idea is you're not just going to market your products, nonchalantly to this person. We have this item. Do you want to buy it? We have this item. Do you want to buy it? That's not exciting enough to make remarketing and display advertising as a whole generally work good for an e-commerce brand. You got to get savvy with it. You got to be able to understand what's going to build urgency and make a person, really excite the person. And if you could say that you're having a special promo for just a limited time, and you're running it because of X, holiday is here, that's the type of thing that gets people to take action now. Otherwise, to procrastinate, or they'll just go back to whatever they were doing, because it takes a lot to get someone actually away from what they were doing, reading an article, looking at photos on Facebook, to actually enter what you want them to do. So you do those kind of promos, and you just do 3 different ones a month. Try to tie it to whatever type of what's going on that month: summer sale, fall special, and then give a time limit for the promo, so they know they have to do it right away or they get none. And because those are very important elements that makes a display ad work, and specifically work for this. And you just keep doing that. So over the next 6 months, they've seen a series of 18 ads like that. They aren't running all the time. The special runs for a few days, it's off. Then an ad shows up later, a few days, it's off. Of course, they're going to see that you keep doing this, but it's just another way to keep re-engaging the person. And eventually, one of them's going to get them, basically. In addition to that, we found that you're going to also want to go back to your lifetime value tracking tool or your database and find out, of that item that you gave away in the promo that has the highest lifetime value from a customer, you find the item that person, when they normally buy that item, they normally buy in addition to it or next. It could be one or the other, but for the most part, just in general, what else do they buy? So they buy this item. What else do they normally buy that's most common? Or what's the most frequent item that's bought when they buy the initial item that you had as a part of your initial giveaway? You can do the top 3 most common items bought together, or not at the same time, but sometime in the near future or during that customer's journey, bought when they have bought your item that was in your giveaway, and have those products in your remarketing ad sequence as well, so they see those items. Because if you're going to market a product straight up to them, you market to them what's statistically likely to be the items that they're probably going to be interested in. So instead of just picking, we have all these products, no, here's the item that they're most likely to respond to, therefore have an ad for that. To make an ad like that exciting, you can say special on this item, or you could say just got in stock, and show that item. Those are the 2 main ways that you could go with it. You could also do things like offering, lifetime support on this item, for this month only, that kind of thing. Again, if you want to build urgency and scarcity into the ad. So if you offer that item, yes, that's an item that's probably going to resonate with them well, but it'll work even better if you can give them a reason to do it now, and they give them a reason why you are offering them a reason to offer it now. Free lifetime support on this item, but we're offering it because it's 4th of July. So they know that this isn't going to be around. You're not messing around. This is actually just a 4th of July type of offer, so that offer's cool. I better do it now, because if I wait till later, I'm not going to get the lifetime support, so I better do it now. That's the type of thing where if you have all those things together, all the stars are going to line up, and now that person has enough motivating energy to actually take place and be involved in getting that product. Right when they see it on their news feed, stop what they're doing and actually click through and do it. The item by itself, not very effective. You'll get a third of the amount of people to click through and buy that item, as if you would have had the special promo on that item that's only good for the next few days, and because it's 4th of July. Anyway, I will leave it to that. As far as the ads that you're going to have, so in that 18 months, if they're going to buy, one of those ads will get them. Remarketing is so cheap that it literally costs a penny to have a remarketing ad show up for somebody. So even though I know you're thinking like, holy crap, how do you afford to have all these advertisements show up for them? Well, it's like a penny basically every time an ad shows up for them. So for the next 6 months, you can have 3 different ads a month show up for them. Or if you want to say 4 different ads a month if you include the products that are most commonly bought with the item that you gave away that I was just talking about. Over 6 months, you'll spend $10 to $20 on advertising for that person to get that person to initially order the first time from you. Now, like I said, once they order from you one time, it'll be a lot or very easy to get them to order a second time. And if they order a second time, statistically, it'll be even easier to get them to order a third time and so forth down the line, for the most part. Not all markets are like that, but generally speaking, that's what you'll find. The more they buy, the more likely they are to buy, assuming your products keep delivering on the promise and they like it, and of course, you're not eventually going to get your fill, so to say, and it's an addictive type of product. So, but that's the formula right here. Now, as it comes to the math, I mentioned that I was going to go over a specific clothing brand where we tried this out at and with. It was a female clothing brand where we did this exact thing. It was getting hard to find new customers. Like I said, eventually if you get to a sticking point where you can't find new advertising that's going to get you an ROI or cost per sale at the level that you need to be profitable, you can start to seriously consider the giveaway and trying to get your best customers that you want most of all with the giveaway. You can do the steps that I gave you here. This is the boiled down way that we found works the best out of testing this a few different ways, also testing this for other markets before in the supplement space a couple times as well. Beyond that, as it comes to the female clothing brand, we had an expensive product we were giving away. I talked about this briefly before. We were giving away a $30 item to get that customer who's likely to spend a lot of money with us. And it still was profitable at the end of the day. Not very profitable, but profitable after you start to consider, because if you can get customers for basically a break-even cost, other customers are going to come to you through other channels, and I'll talk about that in just a second. In this particular case, once we looked at the item that led to the most reoccurring purchases and lifetime value, and then the demographics within those that led to the most lifetime value, like I was talking about, that we go through on step 2 of this process here, we found that age and gender demographic, which was that led to the most lifetime value from customers that bought their item that led to the most lifetime value, that if they bought a certain item and they were a certain demographic of age and gender there, we were getting an average of $279 of lifetime value from a customer that buys those items with those certain age and gender demographics, okay? So you follow me so far? From there, when we did our promo, which basically gave you the formula here, we found out that the lifetime value of a customer, after we got them through the free giveaway of the top, we handed out the top the top was the product that normally led to the most lifetime value from a customer. We found that the lifetime value of somebody who we gave the top away to, if they just paid for shipping, was $189. So that was the real lifetime value from somebody who got the top just for the cost of shipping. And as I mentioned before, if your average customer is spending $300 and you give away an item to get that customer who's like the rest of your customers, but they were only paying for shipping, the average value you're going to get out of that customer is typically going to be less than if that person came to you on their own, was willing to spend their own hard-earned cash for the initial item that they purchased from you, rather than getting it for the cost of free shipping. So whereas if a customer of that particular who bought that particular item in that particular age and gender demographic bought the item themselves, they were likely to go on to on average go on to spend $279. If they got the item for just free shipping, they only went on for $189 on average lifetime value. We were able to see this in the tracking tool, lifetime tracking tool that we have. When you do this, again, you're going to have to go back and check your math. If you're over break even, again, you should be very happy, because through the other ways that you're going to be able to profit from this, you're going to make a lot of money. And I'll explain here in just a second why that is. Anyway, so $189 per customer for the customers who we got to pay shipping for this item that we wanted them to be able to try out. Of that, the profit that we were able to generate from that $189 of lifetime average purchases was $73. And the way that came out was, I mentioned before, you should, your lifetime value, you should figure out what the average customer basically pays out in terms of lifetime value for you as a whole, or the amount of purchases totaled out over time, what it averages out. For this female clothing brand, the lifetime value of an average customer was $123. If we looked at customers who bought the item which led to the most lifetime value, the average customer was spending $202. If we looked at the item that led to the most lifetime value of all the products, and then we also looked at the age and gender demographics that led to the most lifetime value within that specific item that led to the most lifetime value, we were averaging $279. That's where this number right here came up with. What I mentioned, it was our starting point of what somebody who bought that item in that certain age and gender demographic on average came in and purchased with us over their lifetime that they're going to do business with us. Of that, the cost of the product that we were giving away was roughly $30. So we have that as an expense right off the top. Then we had to pay a $6 cost on average to get the person that we wanted in that specific age and gender demographic and that looked like our customer list that we gave Facebook already, to get them to buy the so-called item that we were giving away for the cost of free shipping. So for each purchase of that item, which they just had to pay for shipping, it cost $6 in ad cost to get every item out the door that we were giving away there for the cost of free shipping. So that's a cost. Then in addition to that, we paid roughly $15 for the cost of advertising to get the initial first purchase from them on average. Sometimes they would not purchase, sometimes they would. But on average overall, the cost that we had to spend in advertising, once they got the initial item that we were giving away for the cost of free shipping, the cost that it cost us in those remarketing ads to get that show up right away after that person got the free item or the item for free, minus the cost of free shipping. Over the next 6 months, the ads would show up for them. The cost of those ads to get the average initial purchase beyond the purchase or acquiring the item for the cost of free shipping, that cost about $15 in advertising to get them to purchase so that next item after they got their free the item for free, minus the cost of free shipping. So in summary, it cost $30 to give that item out for free. It cost $6 to find the person to be willing to pay the free shipping for that item that we gave out for free. And then it cost $15 with the advertising after they got that item minus the cost of free shipping to get them to purchase the first time, where there was no free item, but they had their initial first purchase after that. So if you add up those expenses, we had $51 in expenses to get that customer overall in terms of the free item, the cost to get them to want the free item minus free shipping, and the cost to get them to buy at least one item from us after getting the free item from us initially from the initial campaign that we ran. And so if you take out the $51 from the average value of each customer who got the free item minus the cost of free shipping, we have the $73 profit. That's where that $73 profit comes from, and that's our gross profit number. So anybody who got the free item that we were giving away minus the cost of free shipping, they went on average to be able to give us $189 in future revenue through future purchases. Cost us $51 in terms of overall expense to get the customer in terms of the cost of the free item, the cost to get them to want the free item, and then ongoing advertising to get them to buy the first time. So that $189 was whittled down to $73 once you took out those three expenses of the cost of the item, advertising to get them to want the free item, and then the $15 advertising cost to get them to buy the first item after that. Now, excuse me, I'm sorry, I made a mistake here. I had my math wrong. The $51 was the cost of the product, of the free item that we were giving away, and then the $6 ad cost to be able to get them to want the free product, and then the $15 ad cost after that to get them to buy the first product from us. Our $189 of lifetime value that we got from a customer who got the free item from us, how we got from that to the $73 was the cost of the item itself in terms of specifically all the future. So of the $189 that they spent with us over time after they got that free item, 40% of the cost, roughly speaking, is the cost of the goods or cost of goods sold. So, of your $189 in lifetime value or future revenue that they get from us, or we get from them, after they get the initial item from us for free, we only have $73 left after after the hard cost of the products that we're selling itself. So that's, we only have $73 profit from the $189 given the cost of the items that we're selling has a cost. From there, then we take out our $51, which was our cost to get them as a customer in the first place, to leave us with our $22 in net profit left over. So in summary on this again, sorry if I was being a bit confusing on this, $189 was the lifetime value of a customer that we were able to get once a customer got the free $30 item from us itself. Once you take out the 40% cost of the item, so if we sell an item for $100, $40 is what our product cost is to get it from the manufacturer. So of the $189 in lifetime value we got from our customer, $73 is what we made. It cost us $51 to get the customer in terms of the free item that we gave away, and the advertising to get to want the free item, and then the advertising to get them to buy buy their first time from us after that. We're left with $22 per customer profit from our initial $189 worth of lifetime value from each customer who got the free item from us in our sample campaign. So $22 profit is nothing to sneeze at, but there's also other expenses at the firm. Obviously, there's more expenses other than the product cost. We have the shipping like the shipping department, and then we have to pay the accountants and the lawyers and all of it. By the time you factor all that out, our $22 profit that we got from each person who took us up on our free item for the cost of free shipping, or for the cost of shipping, that $22 is basically zero now. We're just breaking even, or a little bit less. I did not actually get into that company's numbers of what their exact profit margins were because it gets complicated. At the end of the day, you can assume that $22 profit, which is about 10% of the amount of total revenue that we got from each customer who got the free item from us, that for sure is going to go into the overhead, and actually a little bit more. For your common e-commerce business, 40% is the cost of the goods, and then you're still also going to have 15% of that on top of that just in terms of the shipping cost and your major overall expenses. But it's basically pretty close to break even, especially if you consider all the expenses that you have. Those are already covered by your existing customers. So if you get these other customers, your expenses are going to go up a little bit, but not as much as what you're paying per customer on the rest of the items that you're selling now, or if you get my point. So all you got to have with e-commerce, and as it comes to PPC, is a way to break even on your campaign. So, and the reason for this is if you can get a customer, the more customers you get, the more Google and also Bing is going to be able to see you as an authority in your space, and the higher percentage and the more that they're going to want to send organic traffic to your brand. I've seen this over and over again. In fact, if you spend over, let's say, around $10,000 a month in Google ads, your organic traffic goes up a ton. I've seen this again and again and again. From Google's perspective, I understand why they do it. Yes, you look more like an authority, but if they're going to give the free traffic to somebody, why do they want to give it to somebody who never wants to advertise? They want people that advertise to be able to make money so that they can keep advertising, if you follow my point here. So, if you could get customers at no cost, once you get so many customers, even if we're not talking about, what I was just talking about, spending so much on Google ads to get your Google organic to come up, just from the standpoint that you have all these customers coming in, you're going to have more recurring traffic come into your site through direct type-in visits, people bookmarking your site, which Google also can tell from Google Chrome browser that they also own. People going back to Google and typing in your brand name, they monitor that to see what kind of how authoritative your brand is. And the more of that you got going on, the more that they're going to give you organic traffic. Google gives the organic traffic, of course, to their advertisers. After you've reached a certain level, it just kind of goes crazy, i.e. around 10,000 a month. But they'll give the traffic to somebody who doesn't need it, or the people who need it the least, they give the most to. Everything in life is pretty much that way. All the money that people get is, it comes to the people who already have money and don't need it, and the people who need it can't get it. Everything is kind of that way in life. If you get all these customers at no cost, you'll start getting all kinds of free organic traffic for Google itself. Of course, if you start, use my step 4 to advertise, then potentially you'll have some more favor with Google. But just in general, having all those brand searches and people bookmarking your site and all this stuff, it's going to lead to more organic traffic. It just is. You have that, and you also have referrals. If your product's good, if it was good a way to give away for free, and you're getting a lot of repeat customers and a lot of lifetime value from a customer, well, you're probably going to get some referral business. So while as generally speaking through our firm, for every dollar in sales that you get through scaling a PPC campaign, we'll typically see you'll be able to get another 20 to 25 cents in sales from new additional organic traffic, because the sales volume builds up more authority and you just get more organic traffic. But the thing is, when you have to get a customer through organic, there's no marketing cost. So your profit is like double, if not triple, what it is if you had to run paid advertising to get that customer. So we'll just say double. If you're getting 25 cents more worth of sales for every dollar in sales you get through your PPC ads, you pretty much half of what you get through the paid campaign that you were just running here, half of it you're going to get just in terms of what you're going to get for sales. It's going to come in from an additional organic, and then you got all those referrals that you're going to be able to get, a word of mouth business, which if you add that in, you've got a lot of extra profit now you're making just because you're bringing in customers at cost. And so outside of what I just gave you here, you should be able to run your campaigns at a break-even cost, and just from what I'm telling you here, that you're going to get a lot more organic traffic and referrals, and if you're patient, all that will come through. And so that you don't just crank up your advertising because you'll go broke in the meantime, but you inch it up 10% at a time. You inch your budget up 10% as long as you're breaking even. Eventually your organic and your referrals will come up. Then you raise it another 10%, another 10%, and that's how you scale a campaign a lot of times. It's of course good if you could profit from the campaigns, but even if you don't, you'll make money from the organic and referrals that you don't need to necessarily. And so even though giving away in this case, an expensive product, it could break even. If you could give, basically if you can give away a product that's only $5 or $10, you probably should be able to make money from the campaign straight out, let alone the organic and the referral business you're going to get stemming from that. So I just, wanted to also educate you guys on the reality of running PPC, particularly for an e-commerce business, how the math works and how you should be looking at it. You're looking for opportunities to acquire customers at no cost and looking at the lifetime value of a customer to identify what costs you can pay to acquire a customer through PPC, and then understanding the side benefits of getting the customer through PPC and where the real value can come in, to the point where you break even, you'll make a ton of money on the organic, just as a side byproduct of everything. So anyway, that's the whole strategy itself in a nutshell. hope I explained it pretty well. Apologize for the mistake I made there with the numbers up front. But that's what I would be personally doing if I was an e-commerce brand. If I was an e-commerce brand and I opened one up today, I would, again, go through the easy stuff that normally works with PPC, shopping/PMAX campaigns. But pretty much right after that, I'm going to start going after, trying to give a free sample out as soon as I can. As soon as I acquire some initial data through my, PMAX campaign that usually works for all e-commerce brands, I'm going to start to offer a free sample campaign as soon as I can, assuming I have a brand that sells that has repeat customers. Why? Because it's going to scale so much. Once I break even, my business is going to grow on its own. Just getting more customers through that, and then the organic I'm going to get. And it's, with that, could be the only strategy you need to grow at that point. You get the free customers in that way through your free sample, pays for itself, and you just keep getting more organic and referral traffic. A lot easier than trying to come up with, from my perspective at least, it's a lot easier to do the free sample campaign than it is to go find a Facebook campaign, a prospecting campaign that can find a customer to buy your product and still have profit left over. Comparing the two, it's just many, many times, and getting to be more frequent all the time, based upon how expensive Facebook is getting, and also Google Display Network is not very cheap to actually do the free sample before you go ahead and try to just offer the product to the right person and hope they buy at a high enough rate that everything works out. I'll wrap it up with that though. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up and like it. We have a ton of other strategies on this channel. If you want to learn how to be a master at PPC, you can find no better information than the information I'm giving you on this channel. To do that, it has all the working strategies that we're using at our PPC agency that we're testing. The winning strategies we find, we're giving to you directly from myself that I'm working on with these campaigns directly to you on this channel. And there's no better information that I know of on YouTube that has actual step-by-step information on how to make money with PPC. So, if you want to make money with PPC, you should subscribe. Beyond that, if you have any questions about the strategy, though, you think that I should have covered or was unclear, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel. I also have a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog where I write step-by-step information on how to set up PPC campaigns like I was given to you here, how we're doing it for our clients to guarantee their results. And if you want to know on a more individualized basis on how to do campaign setups that basically are guaranteed to make money, which we got to do for our clients, that's another great resource for you to be able to make more money and just make money in general from PPC. The way, we're showing you the ironclad stuff that works there as well. As a final note, I also wanted to mention that we have a brand new program at our PPC firm where we're offering, basically turnkey working campaigns that literally print millions of dollars in sales and profit a year for certain clients that we've had that are operating in one market locally, are not going to be operating out of that local market. You want to set up a mirror business in another market that you can use and have a campaign that hits the ground running that, has a 6 or 7 or 10% marketing cost and gets you sales, which you have a business that's profitable basically day one. We give you the exact campaigns they're using. We show you the results that they're getting. You can use the same thing in another market. And many times you can just find an outsourced partner and send that work to them and have a turnkey business ready to go for yourself just with what campaigns we can offer you like that. We also have product campaigns for products you could source, which, from China or whatnot, that we have the working campaigns for that you could literally install on your Facebook campaign and make money. Stuff that was used by somebody in the past but isn't going to use it anymore. They've moved on to brighter pastures, and which could work for somebody starting out that is fine with any return, be able to use that campaign for themselves that way. So depending on what you're interested in, you can contact us. We can let you know what the different campaigns we have that you can basically use. We give you the campaign, give you the landing pages we're using, and have something that's going to put a profitable business in your hand just through what we've spent years optimizing on our side with our clients, so you don't have to do the same thing on your own. But beyond that, I'll leave it with that. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video where we have another outstanding PPC strategy for you to learn then. See you there.